Lathan, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
certainly can. Wait, how? Firstly, how is it Lathan? Is that how I'm pronouncing your name?
It's Lathan. Yeah.
Lathan. Perfect. Cool. And where are you calling in from? Is it Scandinavia?
It's not Ireland either, unfortunately. It is the United States of America.
Okay, awesome. Whereabouts in the States?
Texas.
Amazing.
Nice.
Heard it's beautiful. Another place I've never visited, but I must at some stage.
It's great spot.
Too damn hot. Too damn hot right now.
It is humid, though. It is humid. That's a fact.
I'll stop complaining about our heat. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being so brave and jumping on. Why don't you give the usual context? So, what your company do and who you target?
Yeah. So I am currently in the process. Just actually signed on with Cognism like 3 weeks ago. And in the process of launching a consulting business for corporate America companies who have a really terrible employee retention and really terrible employee turnover rates and just don't really have clear culture.
Sure. Awesome. Persona HR?
Yeah. Yep. That is my director of HR, VP of HR is my Cognism search for sure. Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. And I'm assuming is there any more context that you want to give to Morgan before he tries to play your part?
No, just because I want to see how Morgan rolls with it. So
of course.
Pressure's on you now, Morgan.
Let's see how Morgan handles it. No context, actually. Yeah, we're good.
Cool. Well, let's dial the tone and let's get the show on the road.
Ring, ring.
This is Morgan.
Is this Morgan Ingram?
Yeah, this is me.
Morgan, my man. My name is Lathan Kraft. You don't know anything about me, but here's what I know about you. You, in the past week, have searched something about consulting quite a few times on the internet, haven't you?
That's kind of creepy, man. Should I hang up this phone? Like, how do you know this information?
Well, I know the information because I care deeply about companies like yours and roles like yours. And I've invested on my own personal money enough to figure out companies like yours and what y'all are doing and what y'all are struggling with. And I just happened to find you and your name and really want to reach out to you on a personal basis. I know that you get thousands of emails a day, but I just want to have a phone conversation because you seem to be having a problem already. That's already been established. You're searching consulting all the time, especially in the past 7 days. And I'd be curious to see what exactly you're looking for in a consulting with your employee retention problem that you seem to be facing.
Yeah, I'm still shocked, man. How did you find this information I was searching? What tools are you using?
Well, I have a provider that has allowed me the information that basically just tracks Google searches. And obviously I don't have all your information. I can't go up to your house and knock on your door because
that's what I feel like right now. I feel like I need to hang up this call. It's just like, I don't know. I feel violated right now.
And that's the thing is I don't want to waste time or waste your time calling you based on things that you're not actually dealing with. So I took my time researching you and researching what you're struggling with enough to be able to have this phone conversation so that we're actually productive and not just shooting the air and hoping we land a buck.
Yeah, no, that would be bad. So yeah, I have been searching some things around consulting. That is true.
So what's going on? Like I don't know if you know anything about consulting, but in the framework, consulting is getting a bad rap because consulting right now has become more behavior modification and not really transformation. I dwell in the transformation space. Maybe you've hired consultants before, and that's why you're searching again, is you're hoping to potentially land on the prize pony of let's solve the problem this time. I'm curious of where you are in this. Are you looking for more revenue? Or are you looking for your employees to stay longer? Like, what's the core issue of your company that's caused you to search thousands of times on Google?
Oh yeah, thousands of times. You didn't say you knew all my information. You're getting creepier by the second. So, what I will tell you to give a quick glimpse, like the reason I was doing the search is because I was trying to understand employee retention. You brought up a good point. We did have a bad experience with the consulting last time, but based on the market right now, we've had to do a couple layoffs, and I'm trying to see how do I keep my top people without them going as well due to the layoffs.
That's great. And I think you would also respect this,
That's
Morgan.
great. That's not great that we're laying off
Well,
people.
here's what I mean by this. Here's what I mean by that. I think that you would respect the fact that there are a lot, if you were to Google consulting agencies, especially in business right now, my name, Lathan, would not pop up on, maybe it might get to the like page 1000 of your Google searches, because I just am launching a business about consulting, which is why I did all the grunt work before to have a conversation with you, because you might be getting cold calls from consulting agencies that are already going to sell you, that have that high name, high dollar figure. They're really just trying to get to sell, but may actually end up as the problem you already had. And I wanted to do the grunt work and say, hey, Morgan, I care about you enough, and I'm starting a business enough to know, hey, I know you have a problem, and I want to partner with you in that problem. I'd love to hop on a call and we just talk about state of the union, like where you actually are, what's actually going on in your organization, and how we can transform it in a way that you don't have to pay for a consultant again.
That sounds intriguing.
So in the next, I know, Morgan, like your life is insane. I get it. This thing called crazy is your life. And the next like 2 weeks, 10 days, what's your next available? And I'll make myself available for you.
That's a great question. Maybe potentially like the following Wednesday, I might be free.
Sweet. What time?
Maybe 2.
Okay. So I use Google. Can I get your email that I can send you a Google Calendar invite? And I would love to talk to you next Wednesday at 2. We can do another conversation. But really, I would love for you to bring everything as honest and authentic as you possibly can to the table, because that's the only way transformation can happen.
Yeah. So it's just Morgan at morganinc.com.
Sweet. Well, brother, you have a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you next week around this time.
Cool. Thank you, Lathan. All right, round of applause. Chat, let us know how Lathan did there. Let us know. We would love to hear that feedback. And I'll go first because I wrote down a couple things. So the reason I was throwing those things at you is because like when I would mention like maybe I've done like a search or a thing, people get really weird, right? So I was actually just curious to see how you handled it. I was like, really, while I was throwing that out there, I actually think that you did a good job of handling it and navigating it. And I think one thing that you said, and I mentioned it on the call, was you talked about how there was potentially a previously bad experience, right? And I think a lot of times people don't bring that up because sometimes people are hesitant, not because like they don't want to maybe look at stuff. It's because they've had something bad in the past, right? So bringing that up and elevating it, I think changed the conversation there for sure. I really like that. I think also as well, you were able to guide and just talk about just relevant things that maybe I was cared about in the HR role. I think you did a good job on that as well. And the only thing to consider is, I mean, I called it out. I mean, it's a small detail because I think there's not too much to really dive into or pick apart, was when you said like, that's great. When I was like, hey, we're laying people off. Like, but also like I do this as well. And you say, when you say, someone says something like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, it's not cool at all. It's just kind of like the filler to then say what you need to say. So I always encourage people to take a pause there and acknowledge what's going on and be like, oh, like layoffs, like, I know that's probably like hard for you. And then go into what you have to say. That's my only thing that I would add, but overall, great job.
Yeah. Awesome.
What's really interesting before David, Morgan, you nailed it. That's like my biggest pain point is you with emails. Like when I forecast and see that you're actually in this conversation and not just trying to get out of it, then I'm like, okay, my next moment is to get you in a meeting. And so a lot of times they like get really real for a split second about here's actually my shit. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool. And so that's a really big problem with me. And that's been a real problem that I've had. Is that they're like, what the hell do you mean that's cool? That's not. And I'm like, well, that's not exactly what I mean.
Yeah, it's just a pause, man. The pause is, I did that as well. I'd be like, that's amazing. And they would say like their team is like not performing and the guy's going to get fired next week, right? So like what I realized is I had to pause and then like really acknowledge that and then move into what I had to say. But I know we're running out of time here. So David, talk to us.
Yeah, really quick. I think I would just say first and foremost, I loved your consistency throughout the call in terms of just trying to make Morgan feel special. I think it's really clever how like you've clearly decided on that being your differentiator compared to other consultancy organizations, and you were so consistent from start to finish on that. Like, you know, notably at the finish when you were saying, look, next 10 days I can make time for you whenever you need to, whenever you can jump on, which is actually something that like I wouldn't advise my team at Cognism to do, because I don't want us to sound not busy, because we are. But it really works into your like narrative, right? Certainly when my company, when Cognism was in the early days and we were less busy, we actually told prospects like, oh, we're super busy, and we pushed back on timing even though perhaps we weren't. So, but that really worked for you, right? And for what you were trying to do, and making them feel special. And I think what perhaps people in the chat can take away from this is like, actually for everybody, people don't want to feel like they've just been cold called on a list and they're the same as everybody else, and they want to feel special. And so although you've completely owned that from start to finish, Lathan, I think also like the way that you started that conversation and giving that very clear explanation as to why you were calling Morgan over everybody else, like made Morgan feel really special, and you're going to have a really great call like from there. So yeah, all positive from me.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
No problem at all.